All right, let's start with this because it's kind of a funny moment. CNN went to a black barbershop in Pennsylvania to talk to them about the election, and obviously was counting on and hoping for certain reaction, certain feedback, but they were shocked and scandalized by what they discovered. Let's watch this.
CBS network anchor went to a central Pennsylvania barbershop seeking some candid conversation. Among the revelations, that some of the black men that he interviewed did not regard Harris as black.
Is Kamala going to make you a little more likely or less likely to vote Democrat?
Well, hold on, wait, first, Ray, hold on, Ray. Is Kamala black, yes or no?
I'm going to let her speak on that. But to me, no.
Oh, is Kamala black, yes or no?
I share that same view.
Wow, is Kamala black, yes or no?
I heard she was. I heard she's half black and half Asian.
When I played that audio on my SiriusXM radio program on Thursday, many callers who self-identified as African American were quick to tell me that those men were the exception, not the rule. Some described them as low information voters, no different than you'd find among whites.
Okay, so that wasn't CNN that went. That was what they say, CBS. Anyway, it's all the same. Pretty hilarious. They, of course, went there hoping for the opposite. They were hoping that the black guys at the barbershop would talk about how offended they were by Trump's comments. Instead, they agreed with his comments, basically, questioning the blackness of Kamala Harris, which is great. Now, I still don't think that this question about Kamala's race is a question that the Trump campaign needs to focus on. And they don't seem to be focusing on it, but it is funny and perhaps kind of telling that they got that answer. And at any rate, it's not Trump. The Trump campaign may not be focused on the question of Kamala's race, even if Trump did bring it up at the during that interview. But the media's focused on it. So here was George Snuffleupagus on ABC, also on Sunday, berating Byron Donalds, of course, a black Republican congressman, about this issue. And it's and this is an exchange that goes on for like 3 or 4 minutes. We won't play the whole thing. We'll play, a minute and a half, 2 minutes of it. But he is, I want you to watch as he is simultaneously berating Byron Donalds for talking about this while also insisting that he keep talking about it. So it's a very interesting dynamic here. Let's watch.
And you just repeated the slur again. If it doesn't matter, why do you all keep questioning her identity? She's always identified as a black woman. She is biracial. She has a Jamaican father and an Indian mother. She's always identified as both. Why are you questioning that?
Well, George, first of all, this is something that's actually a conversation throughout social media right now. There were a lot of people who are trying to figure this out. But again, that's a side issue, not the main issue. The main issue...
Sir, 1 second. You just did it. You just did it again.
Of the United States.
Why do you insist on questioning her racial identity?
You want me to talk?
I want you to answer my question.
George, now that you're done yelling at me, let me answer. He talked about it on the stage yesterday in Atlanta for 2 minutes? He spent more than 35, 40 minutes going after her record, talking about how radical of a senator that she was. She was the most liberal senator in the United States, in the United States Senate. That is a fact. He talked about the job that she did as vice president of the United States, a job, I will add, which has been a failure for the American people. I know you guys like to glom on to this that he talks about in jest or in a serious manner for about a minute or so, but what you do not cover is the litany of failures of Kamala Harris. That's what you're not covering, George.
So questioning somebody's racial identity for a couple minutes is okay?
George, I'm going to tell you again, he brought it up. AP is the one that wrote the headline when she first came in to the United States Senate. Didn't talk about her being black, talked about her being the first Indian American senator. AP brought that up.
If it doesn't matter, I don't understand why you keep on repeating it, why the president keeps on repeating it, why those introducing the president yesterday
George,
keep on repeating it.
I'm not the one who keeps repeating it. George, you're the one that's bringing it up now.
Okay, well, here's a good thing about these corporate media hacks. And this is why I appreciate guys like Snuffleupagus, that they aren't subtle. They telegraph their strategies. They take a very bull in the china shop approach to trying to steer the conversation one way or another. And that's what's going on here. So it's both, hey, let's talk about this thing. And then he answers, what? Why are you talking about it? I mean, it's literally what happened in this exchange over and over, like 3 times in a row, just in the 2 minutes that we played. Which means that if you're a Republican, it's very clear what the media wants to talk about and what they don't want to talk about. So that as a Republican, your response is pretty simple. You know, your counter strategy should be pretty simple. Talk about the stuff they don't want to talk about and don't talk about the stuff that they do. Now, that doesn't mean that you cower or hide from the stuff that they want to talk about. It just means that you steer the conversation to the places that they don't want to go, which is what Donald's tried to do in that interview. He did a good job. There's only so much you can do when you're being harangued and berated in that way. But the media wants to stay focused on this thing about Kamala's race. Trump brought it up, half joking, in a 90-second clip as part of a longer 30-minute interview. It was only talked about for a minute, 2 minutes. And everybody knows this is Trump's style, that he just kind of like, he tends to wander a bit rhetorically, and he goes down various, he doesn't stay on the main river, let's say. He goes down various like little streams and tributaries, and he comes back to the main river, but so so that you can always, you can find him wandering over here for a second, and then you decide you want to focus on that. And they're doing that here because that's what they want to discuss. So for Republicans, it's easy. Okay, they want you to attack on the race thing, so attack somewhere else. Where don't they want you to attack? Let's find those weak points and focus your energy there. And this, again, is the point that Donald was making in the interview. I thought he did well. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.